welcome back to Rolling Line. Been working on building my own layout. Got the basics of my station area in, and I've got my approach lines and my freight diversion built in. Just trying to get my spacing of the platform sorted. I'll put some speed signs down and a stopping point at this end, and I'm just trying to test to see if I've actually got this working where it needs to. When I've done this side, I'll do the other line, or the other direction, and then when this platform's done, we'll then start looking at the other platforms as well. Give me Marcel. Let's jump on board. I think I'm going to need to reposition my my platform a little bit. They are, they were deliberately offset, but that is starting to prove a little problematic. So it's got a series of little slowdown markers. It approaches at 25, then goes down to 20, then 15, then 10. And then we've got the wait point here. And I want the train to basically stop right near the end of the platform, but it either stops past it or way before the end. Like that, which is kind of lining up with the other platform. So it is stopping... Oh, damn it, wrong thing. It is stopping where... I don't really want it to stop, so rather than trying to faff about too much that way, I'm going to move the platform, which will take a little bit of finagling, but we'll get it done. I'm going to need to rip that up. And now I need to edit details, I think. Yes, there we go. So let's start with this platform. In fact, actually... Oh no, the bulk move won't... I wonder if I can group things together. Let me try that. See if I can select items and move the whole platform. I don't think it works on props. It doesn't. It only works on track. Okay, bit of a shame. I can't move just the platform pieces, or else, as a group, I'm going to move all the track with it as well, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. So I'm going to have to move every piece individually, which is going to be fiddly and time-consuming, but need to get it right. Welcome back, Wayne. Luckily, I don't need to do too much stretching here. What I do need to do is just make sure that I am lined up, and I am. Lovely. There we go. I built this with some overlap in case I did need to make some changes, so I'm quite glad I had the forethought to do that. make this process a little bit quicker. Okay, I am going to need to put an extra piece in here then, I think. Oh no, wait, this is... Yeah, I know what I'm doing wrong. Let's start on that. There we go. That's why that's not popping up. All the fiddly stuff that you don't normally see in these kind of videos, but no, this is just a warts and all live stream. You'll see me put stuff down, rip it back up again, come up with an idea and then scrap the idea and do something else. Right, last two pieces of the platform. It's very fiddly sometimes when you're just trying to get these things to line up properly. There we go. So that gives me just enough clearance on this end. I can now move my stop sign back to where it was originally positioned. And let's do another little test, see if that's working now. The reason I got these out is because these are the longest trains I'm ever going to run with the Class 91. They are actually slightly longer than the Class 43, which is the classic HST. So I figured if I design the station platforms around this one train, then it doesn't matter what line it's running on, it'll always have space to pull in and do what it needs to do. So I've got a 50 speed limit just there, so we'll see this thing speed up because it's doing its default 10. Its last pre-programmed command at the moment is at 10 mile an hour. Goes up to 50. And then when it hits here, it slows down to 25. I might up that to 30, but I'll leave it at 25 for now. Then we hit the 20 just there. Again, I may move that further forward just so that we get less time crawling and more time at a slower, a slow but steady approach. So there we go, down to 15. And then down to 10 here. I'm probably going to put a 5 in just here. Evening, Architect. Been a while. And comes to a stop. Check the other end of the train. Yep, that's good. I'm liking that positioning. I need to move the platforms over a bit. And then it'll, once it's done its stop, which will be much longer than just 20. It's, I'll probably do it for like a 100 or something like that eventually, maybe even longer than that, but the train will then pull out and carry on its merry way. So we've tested it on that side. Now we need to test it coming in on the other side. I'm not going to bother with the speed things. I want to make sure it comes off the points fine first of all. I'm going to widen the radius of that curve as well. Train fell off the edge. Alright, let me select the other end and see if I can pull it back on that way. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I'm just pushing it further off. Yeah, so we disconnected. That's fine. Now that I've got my approach speed, let's slow it down when it gets to here. Slow it down to 30. I do need to put a 10 so that the train's running at the right time, right speed on the platform, because that will affect the braking distance. I want fixed direction in the opposite direction. Yes, that's the right source track. So theoretically, it'll stay at 50 if it stays on the main line, the pass-through on the station. But if it comes onto here, it'll slow down to 30, which will then set the approach speed for either side of the platform. And then, where's my 10? And I'll drop these down into the platform once I've got everything set up, so that you won't even be able to see these signs. I'll still keep some of the, the standard sort of road sign versions, the circular ones. I'll keep those out on the layout just to set general speeds for doing ride-alongs. But for when you come into the station, all the yellow command ones that I'm putting in here will be hidden. Am I going to get Jurassic World Evolution 3? Yes, I think I am. I'll be getting it for the console rather than the PC, I think. I know it's out soon. When is it out? It's out? Is it next week? Alright, there we go. So I've got some speed signs put down. Let's fire up the AI drive. Check these behaving as expected. So up to 50. Down to 30. And 22nd. So a couple of weeks yet. Down to 10. That's just overshot. We've got clearance on that end. So let me very quickly do that. There we go. Before he pulls away again. Here he goes. I've got my basic spacing sorted, but I need to double check that just moving the platform with the sign attached hasn't moved. Uh, 21st for us, it'll be 22nd in Australia. Because they're, 13 hours ahead. Evening, Corey. So let's try this again. Still crawling because he hasn't triggered a speed sign. Now he's speeding up because he's triggered the 30 speed sign. Hits the 10. Hits the stop and wait. And that's better. That works on both sides. And there it goes. Excellent. Oh, didn't want to decouple. Looks like it didn't decouple properly. So I'll have to take it off and put it back on again. Or was it the coach that didn't decouple properly? It might be the coach. There we go. You can't believe it took so long for ETS and ATS to come. I honestly had given up on it ever coming. And that's one of the reasons I decided to get a PC. But also just because I wanted to be able to play stuff that you just can't play on console. Things like this, for example. So, now that I've tested that track, and I've got my stopping distance sorted, need to do it for the other side of that platform. And I've got to rebuild the line slightly. Am I going to be getting the new Football Manager? Probably not. I just don't see myself spending much time with that, with my commitments with Formula One Manager and then wanting to do other stuff as well, like, you know, get back into ATS and ETS, this. And then maybe, well, not say maybe, then Jurassic World Evolution 3 as well. I just don't see myself having time for Football Manager as well. Welcome back, Farrah. Alright, so I need a little bit more straight here. Let's find a decent sized straight piece. we go. I like to leave bits of track lying around so that I can just find the one I want and apply it. Use a bit of flexi. Not amazingly happy with that approach, but given where the platform is, I don't really have a lot of choice in that. I don't want to rip all this track up again. Stated we have to wait another couple of months for Subnautica 2. Yeah, well, that's just for early access. You know, I'm going to wait until it's, you know, in better shape before I jump in, because I know with the first Subnautica the game changed dramatically before it would actually hit full release. So I'm probably going to wait on that one. I don't know. It depends how impatient on it I get. I may just cave and get it, you know, a couple of months after it goes into onto the store. I feel that if I do play it in early access, I'm going to resent having paid for a game that is just full of a crap ton of bugs, to the point where I just don't want to play the game anymore, even when it gets fixed. That's what happened to me with No Man's Sky. Just yeah, I mean, it's apparently a wonderful game now, but I just don't have the enthusiasm for it now that I had before I got it. And I say, I absolutely adored Subnautica. I really don't want to sour my expectations on that game before it's even ready, so to speak. A little bit more careful with repositioning stuff here. You think Anno's 117 Pax Romana is going to be great? I'm not sure about what to expect from it, because I tried Anno 1800 and I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't really what I was expecting. I'd never played an Anno game before, and I don't know, I just found it clunky. I was never really sure what I was doing when I was playing it. Which is never a good thing to experience when you're playing a game, especially when you paid money for. Right, I think we're good with the platform. Just want to double check the original approach again, now that we've just made some changes to the size and positioning of the platform. Hopefully I haven't just messed things up on this side that we just fixed. Okay, stop some weights there. And we got clearance on the other side. Excellent. And we're running back through in the opposite direction again just to make sure that's fine. So I'll hit that 30 sign, speed up. I'm looking forward to GTA 6, but it's the GTA game that I'm the least enthused about, you know, out of all the ones I've played. Just because 5 kind of soured my experience a bit with the fact that they never ever did a DLC for it. They just kept milking the online cash cow. There we go, got clearance on both ends, that's excellent. So yeah, that is exactly what we want. These speed signs here, these generic ones that I put down, will get repositioned once I'm happy with them. Have I just broken direction on this thing now? Quite possibly. I set it on the wrong track. I was paying attention to the wrong thing. Yeah, I put that on the freight line. Well, he'll pull in and then he'll obey all the normal speed signs. Oh, we haven't put any signs in. Okay, let's let him roll through. I want to get this speed sign sorted before I forget. Alright, so that's the right track. It's the wrong direction. That's the right direction. That's the rice. That's the right source track. Stop and wait for 20. And I want to see if I can get it positioned in a better spot. There we go. So is this game like Transport Logistics? No, not at all. This is build your own model railway, basically. So that's what it is. It's a model railway simulator. So you build your own layout, and then you can either just set your trains just to run continuously, or you can get involved and control everything, on the fly with a controller like this in my hand here. Or you can do a combination of things and program in some AI commands, which is what I'm doing here. I want my stations to be automated, so that trains will pull in, slow down, stop at the platforms. So that it allows time for your theoretical passengers to get off and on, and then pull off and rejoin the main line again. But right now I'm just doing some stop distance tests, figuring out where I need my signs to be, using the longest train I'll be running. Once I'm happy with that, I'll step away from this bit for a bit. Okay, so he's stopping in a good spot there. I've got a little bit of overhang on the other end. That's excellent. Now I need to test him coming in from this side. So I need to clone that sign. Make sure I don't stick it on the train like I did the other day. Alright, perfect. So this time, when it comes in, and this is the direction it will be coming on this track, this is the up line. That's correct. Those are correct. That's correct. The next one won't be. There we go. Just realised he's going to hit a speed sign and speed up. I haven't put my slow down sign in yet. Alright, ready to test this platform in this direction. So we'll hit the 25 sign. Actually, it might be 30 on that one. Yeah, it's 30. So that's approach speed. And then it'll slow to 15, then 10, and then should stop and pause before it goes on again. He's stopping too early. Send him back. And send him back to there. That'll do. I know the approach works fine. I just need to get this bit here working. So you can see he's programmed to stop, and he'll stop probably about there. So I need to change the source track, and hopefully by doing this I can actually change the point. No, he's still going to brake about there. Right, okay. Might be able to sort that by swapping that piece of track out, putting in a smaller piece. That was too big. Let's take that out. Let's get a bit of flexi. There we go. Sleepers are too big. Let me take that piece out then. That's a little bit better. There we go. So now the source has stopped at a different point, so that junction just there now, intersection of those two bits of track. So let's see if that fixes the issue. Let's see where he stops this time. Ah, damn it. That's what I was worried about. We'd hit that and then start to stop at that point. I don't have space to extend the platform any further. I've already got a not particularly nice looking approach on this platform here. And short of ripping all this track up and pushing it all the way further down there, which I'm really not keen to do, given how long it took me just to get these lines to intersect the way I wanted them to, and the fact that I had to rip everything up and reposition everything on that side. I'm prepared to live with a slightly weird approach just here on a platform that isn't going to get used that often. It does mean I need to solve this problem. Damn it. That'll be really tight with the edge of the platform, but I might be able to actually squeeze it back a little bit. Now if I come back in and just reposition my sign slightly. No, that's not where I want it to stop. That is what I want. At that point just there. So, that should now theoretically work. Should being the operative word here. Will I be putting in some overhead lines? At some point, yes. Maybe not on the entire track, but I'll certainly have some parts that will have overhead wires. Come on. it's tight, but the driver door just has access to the edge of the platform. That works. That's what I've been basing it on. That the driver door still gets onto the platform, and it does just. And there we go, he'll pull off, and then if he was exiting normally, he would then stay on this inside line, which then becomes the second line as the freight bypass rejoins and makes it a 4-track main line. I'm going to have bits of this layout in 4-track and bits of it in 2-track. I did think about doing a full 4-track main line, but I decided against it in the end. It'll just be awkward to do some of the stuff that I want to do if I've got 2 trains in the same direction on one side and 2 on the other. So it'll be easier at some points to just separate them out entirely and just have an up and down, and then next to it another up and down. Alright, that'll do for now. I know that this platform is pretty much done. Do need to kind of move the platform out a little bit, but I don't really have space now that I've put this in here. It's a little far away from the tracks, but you know, you're going to be standing here and looking, so you're not really going to see the gap unless you're actually standing on the platform. Less of an issue. I've measured out an end stop here for 2 4-car DMUs pushed together, and then I've got a couple of small stops here for I haven't put any sign or anything on this side of the station yet. I've just done this one double platform here, and that's enough for me for platforming for a little while. So I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more platforms to configure, and yeah, that one I'll get to that when I get to it. But the basic plan is that this part of the track is going to be, or the layout's going to be 2-track, so it'll be shared by passenger and freight, and they'll come around this long sweeping corner, and then the freight lines either from this as they're coming around from the other direction, or from here using this X point, will then cross onto this one line here and then split, and then this will be the up line and then the down line for the freight bypass, with a split here for some additional siding passes, which I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to rejoin them up here. I probably will rejoin them up at this point somewhere. So the freight will bypass the station entirely, so that then leaves 2 fast lines in the middle of the station for any other passenger trains, which will be moving quicker than the freight. And then the freight will rejoin over here to make it a 4-track main line coming out of this side of the station. So this one will just go straight over. This is the down line, so the trains will be coming towards us on this line, and then cross over and head off that way. And then the freight will be coming down on this side, and that will just blend alongside, and then we'll have passenger. So we'll have 2 up lines for freight passengers, and then a passenger and a freight down line coming towards us. That's the plan for that bit. So What I need to do over here is I'm not happy with the radius of this curve. I want this to be a wider radius. So let's see. Change the angle. I think I set it to 10. No, I didn't. I set it at... I didn't set it at 10. I set it at like 22.5. So I need to change this radius down. Still too long. Compare notes. Oh yeah, it's a much shallower angle. It's probably a little bit too shallow. So this is one thing I absolutely love, is this ability to set custom angles on my tracks. Set these to 16. And yeah, that is tighter. That's good. All right. Those two tracks there were initially on here, but then I pushed the wall out and it left the track where it was. That's why there's two random tracks just sat there. They were on that shelf there. So, the main issue at the moment is that these are separated to 0.7 degrees. Or 0.7 units. And the tracks here are more than that apart. So I need to have a custom curve. Which is what my flexi track was doing. Bringing these two lines closer together as they went into the curve. So I need to change the angle on this. To about there. I think that might do it. Let's find a piece of flexi track somewhere. Yeah. That's not going to work. So now I need to change the position of this track here. Maybe to something a bit more like that. Let's bring it closer a little bit. Yeah, that's curving out and then curving back again. So that needs to move out like that. There we go. That's a nice gradual approach. Now I need that piece to disappear. So we get a nice gradual moving together of the two lines. There we go. So this curve is going to end up being a lot bigger. Quite a lot bigger. In fact, I don't mind tightening up to that radius at this point, I think. Don't know which way around that's going. Let's increase the width of the room. Again, I'll probably widen the exit angle on this curve as well. So it's definitely not on a straight angle, which is good. I didn't want it on a straight angle. I would like perhaps a little bit more angle though. So say, there's no hard and fast plan for this layout. I have a rough idea of what I want to do. Not enough space. Right. Let's try going full wide on this curve then. Make it a huge curve. One of my sort of mini bugbears with model railways is when you get these really unrealistically tight turns, which is a holdover from just, you know, not having the space. Space is not a limitation in this game. way bigger than I was intending. Let's play it out though. Let's see just how big it goes. Yeah, that's much bigger than I want or need it to be. So, I'm going to try and narrow the radius a bit by creating smaller versions of the curve by putting them on an inner radius. Let's get rid of the bits that I'm not using. And I think I'm actually using the wrong ones here as well. Let me test my theory on that. Yeah, I am. I'm using my giant curves, which I use for very subtle transitions, so that my layout can have some nice little movement without, again, ridiculously tight turns. Because for the most part, we've got to remember that trains are going to be moving scale of fast. Now, when you're on a station approach, everything's nice and slow, so you can get away with tight turns around that. But when you're supposedly going at your top cruising speed, maybe not flat out, but you're at your top kind of speed for just moving from one point to another, you know, on route to the next station, for example, you know, a really tight turn, really tight radius curve would just derail the train if you took it at speed. So you would be constantly having to slow down. It's not so much of an issue for freight trains, because by and large you'll go a fair bit slower with the freight, but if you're running passenger services, time is money, so you don't want to be hanging about. Let's just take one of the wider curves as the exit there. It's part of the exit radius, just a slightly smoother transition out of the turn. Now we can bring it round a little bit more. So at some point, somewhere down here, I'm actually going to separate our two lines out into two separate up and down lines, rather than making it straight 4-track. Then I can move one off and have it look like the line is separating into two separate routes to go off to two different cities, for example. I'm going to get a bit more curve before I do that. And there we go. That's all going to head off that way. Come back track. As I say, somewhere a bit further down here, I'll separate the lines out. And I'll have one sort of branching off towards the right, one that will kind of go off to the left, go into a tunnel somewhere, and then we'll do something with that to bring it back out later and link them back up over here. How you doing, Clark? Now, if I try and use the same curves here, they're going to be offset. It's not going to work spacing wise properly. So what I'm going to do is use a pre-made template piece that I have. There we go. Of my two different versions of the line. And this is a slightly laborious way of building my curves on the outer radius, but needs must. And then take that off, plonk it there, and repeat the process. And this way I keep everything nicely lined up. Okay. Now I could make longer straights by merging some of these chunks together, but I'm thinking ahead for when I want to put signals in, and also for when I want to put points in. It'll be easier to take out small pieces of track than big pieces of track. Let's come down to a better height. I do want to put some elevation change into the layout. I don't want it to just be completely flat. The wrong height, it would seem. I'm going to remove all these tables and build some custom flooring and bench work afterwards to get everything mounted. But for now, these are just an easy way to work. Yeah, that is the wrong height. There we go. So, let me do something here. Bear with me a moment. I'm going to take some inspiration from where I grew up for this next bit. I actually did a little exploring just to see how much my hometown has changed since I left, which was 25 years ago, and yeah, it's changed a bit. But some things have stayed very much the same. Okay. There we go. So this is where I grew up, in Rugby, and this is the station. And this over here is where I grew up. Just here. So where is... There we go. So this has really changed. Oh, damn it. Didn't mean to do that. When I was a kid... Where's my... Here we go. This Linnell Woods was not a woods. It was just known as the wasteland. It was all open. They actually planted a few trees, young trees here on this edge, and started doing that. But the top stayed open, and then there was nothing all the way down the slope. And this was sledging heaven when I was a kid. Back when we used to get snow. So this is my old house here. No, not that one. This one. Number 44. That's my old house that I grew up in when I was a kid. And if we rotate around... See... It's all just trees now. None of this used to be here like this. If I go back to this and go to layers. There we go. You can see this is all now just trees, but this was a flat area along the top, and then as it got here, this road then goes downhill to join up with Lower Hillmorton Road. So you had a hill that kind of went down a little bit there. It was steep going down that way towards the Cub Hut, which is now... Oh, there it is, down there, the Cub Hut. That was like a little water treatment works down there, I think. Don't know if it still is. But all this was open, so everyone would be along here, along the top, and then we would sledge all the way down to the bottom, down here, where it flattened out. And none of these trees were here. It was brilliant. Every winter, it was fantastic. And then, as I say, I used to live here, and I used to go to school here. And then when I got a little bit older, I went to school here. And I could literally just hop over my fence if I wanted to. But it was like a 10-minute, not even that, it was like a 5-minute walk from there, down the hill, around the corner, and I'm home. But this is where I used to see the trains out the windows, you know, on this raised up, high up embankment back here. And then you could actually follow the pathway down here. You come out by Rugby Town Football Club, and there's a little spot down here which hasn't really changed that much, where you could actually kind of stand here and you could see a couple of the trains go by. And this is where the track is actually two separate main lines. So it's 4 track on the other side of the station, and then here it's 2 separate routes that are still close together because station's only just there. And then they start to separate here on the edges of Rugby, and you got this route that goes out towards the Daventry Freight Terminal just here, and then this route here goes off. The next major city stop or town stop on this one would be Milton Keynes, and this is the route to go down to London as it goes off into the Kilsby train tunnel. So I'm going to use this bit as inspiration, because just here, with the lines coming out of the station, not here, it's a bit further over, here, you had some elevation change here. So as they all feed out of the station, you've got a couple of lines that are lower here. They kind of drop down a bit on the exit of the station. These ones stay at this kind of level. This one starts to climb a little bit more, and then to make sure they can get over this sunken route here, that goes straight on there, and then these 2 lines merge together on an elevation here, and then cross over the other lines that are sunk down on that side. And that's a way that you transfer from one line over to here, so that you then get your up and down line over here. So that becomes your up line, and that becomes your down line, and then here you've got your up line and your down line, as you know, heading to Rugby or out of Rugby. And I'm going to try and do something very similar. So I want to try and recreate this. So we've got a level here, and then we've got a line that's going to go over the top of this line, which is going to cross over and then go that way, and then say this line, or this half of that 4-way line. If we imagine that this is a main up and down, just 4 tracks, 2 up, 2 down, then we're going to have 2 lines coming up, and we're going to separate one off this way and send it that way, and then we're going to send the other one this way, and basically we're going to do the whole thing in reverse. So we're going to go from 4 tracks into 2 separate sets of 2 tracks by doing it like that, and then have this kind of funky little over under exchange here. That's my plan. Would I ever move back home? I don't know. I mean, I did a little bit of exploring, as I say, in map view, and I did kind of get a little homesick for the first time in a very, very long time. This is where I went to school when I graduated from middle school. I went to Lawrence Sheriff Grammar, and I had a house. When I say I had a house, I lived almost opposite that as well. That's Lawrence Sheriff Street. No, that's not the school. That's part of Rugby School. Where is Lawrence Sheriff School? Here. This is Lawrence Sheriff School. And this is Bath Street. And this is where I lived here as well. I lived at number 10. So again, it was really handy for school. And then I started working here with newspaper rounds and stuff, and then working in the shop when I was older, when I turned 16. And then this is the town centre. I've told the story before on this channel a long time ago, I think, when I got really, really drunk and threw up outside of a nightclub. That nightclub is here somewhere. And these are the benches that I sat on and threw up at. And then I went down to the clock tower, which was the bus rank and taxi rank. It's just taxis now by the look of it. Saw a friend of mine's sister who was getting hassled by someone. I said, I'm just going to get some cash. I'll be back in a second. Went over to the cash point over here at Midland, which is now HSBC. Came back across, did the I'm going to bow up and do the protecting role kind of thing. And it turns out it was one of my mates from work who was hassling him. So I managed to, completely defuse that situation. Got in a taxi. And I got as far as the roundabout, and then stopped midway in the roundabout, opened the door, and threw up outside in the middle of the road. Back in the taxi, and then off I went home. That was when I was working at Tesco, which is over here. So I kind of just went going through some of the streets and seeing what had changed, what hadn't changed, seeing what businesses were still around. And one thing that really hasn't changed is that this area here is still where the banks are and still were, same banks. And this whole area, Regent Street, and this whole area down here is still Estate Agent Central. They're all down there. In fact, let's go and I'll show you what I mean by Estate Agent Central. So we got one right there on the corner, and then as we come down, got another part of the Newman office, a smaller version of the Newman office, and then as we come down here, we've got another estate agent, and then we have another estate agent, and another estate agent. And another estate agent, and another estate agent. We're not done yet. It's another estate agent. It's just Estate Agent Central. There used to be, if we close out of this, there used to be a model railway shop that I used to love spending time in, and unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, but it was just over here, next to Rugby School. So that's Rugby School. And then it was, I think it was here where Mac is now. That or CB22. I don't think it was CB22. I'm pretty sure it was this building here. But there was a little model railway shop I used to spend time in. There's the Webb Ellis statue. Old Willy Webby. And then just to show you how old I am, this building here, when I was a kid, because the old library used to be just through this little cut through here. This building here used to be a Rumbelows when I was a kid. Not anymore. I don't even know Rumbelows still exists as a business anymore. But yeah, that's a little glance at my hometown. The station has changed a fair bit, but also some things haven't changed about it as well, which again made me feel a bit nostalgic. There's a peculiarity around the station that has this the main road going underneath, the tunnel gets cut in half when you get actually into the tunnel. And that hasn't been changed. Like I said, as long as I can remember. So, if we say at least 40 years, it's certainly going to be a lot longer. It's always been like this, where you actually have to have a traffic light in the middle of the tunnel because it's only single lane for half of the tunnel. And then it comes out, and they've changed this all up a bit. There used to be a GC Alstom building there. It's now something else instead. And that's the back side of the station. I think you now have access to the station on both sides, which you didn't used to have before. Or not proper access anyway. But the station itself, if we come round, they completely redeveloped the whole front of it. So the road hasn't changed, I don't think, but this whole facade here, none of this existed before. It was literally just a tunnel in the in the brickwork that went down, and then you would go up a sort of a tunnel ramp, and then you're onto the main part of the station where the ticket office was and the platforms were. And I thought, they've got rid of all of that. It's changed, and it actually hasn't. It actually hasn't. It's still as it used to be. So if we have a look, they've made it look less grimy than it was when I was a kid. They've certainly tarted it up a little bit, but it's still essentially what it was. You know, you had this long tunnel that went underneath and a little ramp, and then you would go up to the platforms. And that's it from going down, and that is exactly as it used to be, just with a bit more pretty stuff on the side and fresh coat of paint and everything. But yeah, it didn't used to look this nice. It used to look very dank and grimy. But this is yeah. I thought they'd changed all of this, and I was quite surprised, and in a way kind of pleased to see that that's still there. There's another shot from the bottom end of that ramp going up. So you go up and you'd have your tickets right there. The ticket office just right around there. So yeah. Little trip down memory lane for me a couple of days ago when I was looking at that. But this is what I want to do with my crossover. This bit here. So if we go back to the satellite where it goes up and over, and that's what I want to try and do. How easy it's going to be to do that, I don't know. But that's going to be my plan here. So we'll have a nice 4-track stretch coming out of here. I could make it easier on myself, actually, and just have this as 2 up and 2, 1 up, 1 down, and then 1 up, 1 down, rather than, 4-track. It might be better to do that. It would certainly make doing what I need to do a lot easier. And I would still have 4 tracks running next to each other, even if they're not all in proper 4-track formation kind of thing. But what I would need to do then is just completely rework my my freight line bypass, bring them down, bring them closer, and then somewhere in here start to blend those in before they hit the curve. Get a nice little stretch of extended running before going into the up and over. And then from there, again, I can separate 2 of those lines out. So 2 will disappear off, and I could either get them looping around and come back out somewhere over here when we do that separation over there, into two separate sets of lines before they merge into just a double line. Or possibly they could go into a lower fiddle yard area, a staging area, and then come back out. Maybe back on this side, but heading back towards the station. So I've got options, but I don't want to just try and force 2 tracks into 4 tracks and then 4 tracks back into 2 tracks. Coming out of the station with 4 lines makes sense, but I don't want to just turn up to this bit here with 2 tracks over there and just force 4 lines into 2, because that'll just look and feel really janky. So I haven't quite worked out how I want to do that yet. I want this to kind of be something that will loop around here as well. We'll have some stuff on a separate sort of bit, a separate island here somewhere in the middle. So the scenic break is going to cut, so it's not going to be sticking out that far for the scenery. It's probably going to cut down to about here, and so that will just disappear. I'll restructure that. Okay, so that's the plan. If I do this, let's take that out. And grab one of those. This might be the wrong size, but yeah, it's the wrong size. Okay. Nope, not that one. There we go. So that's kind of the width that we'll have. So we'll have a little bit of scenery on that side, a little bit of scenery on this side, and then that'll be it. So again, that one can come out, and I can put another one of those there, just to give you more of an idea as to the actual scope and scale of the baseboards as they're going to be. I'm planning, I pulled the station out a bit like this because I want to have a little bit of a town scene just on the back of the station. Nothing too big. I don't want to put too much detail in because I don't want it to become problematic with frame rates and stuff if I put way too much detail in, because it's going to be a big layout. So the more trees and shit that I start putting in, the more it's going to start at some point to have a knock-on effect on the frame rate. Hide the draw. There we go. I want this to be something that, you know, you could just kind of have a walk along and have a really nice sort of look at things. But again, keeping the scenic side of it narrow, so that it's not a lot of extra detail that I have to put in. It also means if I do want to go quite detail heavy in a couple of places for the scenery, it's, again, not massive areas that are going to need, you know, an absolute shit ton of trees. Because you could easily end up putting down millions of trees in this. Easily. So again, this won't come out quite so far as this. Let's try and thin this down a bit. Yeah, I still haven't finished planning out the freight bit over here yet. That's something else we need to work on. And then that won't be there at all. Let's get rid of all these bits of track that are floating conspicuously and serving absolutely no purpose anymore. There we go. And then this board will disappear as well. And I'll keep those ones there like that for now. Lovely stuff. Alright, that's starting to take some shape. Actually, no, I'm not going to need that just yet. Just plonk it there because I will need another one at some point. Go. She's probably just there. I'm going to need it. Like that. So I've got a little bit of room to bring these lines around here, do my sidings, reposition and rework this bit as it blends back over there. Let's move the train. Get it back into the station where it's out of the way. almost got it perfect. It just overshot. That's fine. That's not fine. It's going to bug me. There we go. Now it's fine. Now I can leave it be. So let me save the changes I've done. Just quick save. There we go. And I haven't actually really spent any time playing with trains today, so I want to show you a couple of other maps that I've downloaded and had a look at. This was just someone laying down track just for you know, the experience of and practice, I suppose. I think this is, where's this supposed to be? Is it New York? I forget exactly where, but this is based on some real American track work. I think maybe not 100% faithful recreation, but certainly, you know, inspired by, and it's a lot of lines going over the top. And I kept hold of that just because I was curious. I wanted to see, wanted to have something to refer to just for, you know, the possibility of inspiration here and there. What else have we got? There's some awesome bridges in this. It's just bridges that you can, I think, try and copy out and then import. And all it is basically it's just a display of different bridges that you can build in stages by the guy who is probably king of making maps in this game. And yeah, these are insane. Some of these bridges that he's built. Absolutely beautiful work. You know, the curved ones especially are nice. I may well look and try and incorporate something like this. You know, I am... There was an old disused... Because where I lived, obviously we had the 4 main lines. Rugby Station is huge. It's in terms of the number of tracks and lines that run through the station and around the edge of the station. It's got at least twice as many lines as Nottingham Station, despite Nottingham having a much bigger population. Because Rugby, for a time, was one of the major rail stops in the country. Back when rail freight was massive, you know, back in the 50s and 60s. Rugby was a major station for freight. Because of where it's located. You know, it's a way to move freight anywhere around the country very quickly by rail. So a huge number of tracks, but the Great Central Railway also ran through Rugby at one time, and there was a viaduct. All the track had been ripped up, but the viaduct still remained, and I would love to try and get a viaduct bridge somewhere into my layout. So something maybe not that big, but certainly in that kind of style. Maybe something a little more akin to this, but without the middle. If we just say the top 2 layers in terms of height, but without the 2 sets of arches, just one arch per you know, rather than 2 layers of arches, just 1 layer of arches. So maybe like more akin to this bottom layer here. You know, something like that really appeals to me to try and squeeze into my layout somewhere. So I've got that kept for, again, for inspiration on how to build bridges. That's the monster American map that we looked at. This is a good little map of Redcar Central. It's a very, very small map. It's a good idea for detailing. So we've got a little diorama here of Redcar British Steel. Very small commuter stop. And then over here, this is just an idea of how to decorate a little town scene. And it's just a train that does a little programmed loop, turns around, comes back, it'll stop at the station, it'll go through the level crossing, go off, and then turn around and come back again. But again, I kept this as a good way to see what can be done in terms of making a map look realistic with, you know, a little town scene. The one on my map won't even be this big, I don't think, the main area by the station, but it's just, again, a reference point for me so I can see what I could do. This is insanely detailed, and it's only a small section, just a very small slice of the Santa Fe Railway. But someone's gone all out on detail on this, and you can see they've actually put ballast down over the top of the in-game ballast to make it just look more like real ballast. And that's it. It's just a small little section with the main road running alongside, but it's insanely detailed. And again, this is something I've kept just for reference, so I can see just what you can achieve with detail if you're really prepared to put the time and effort in. I don't want to go this detailed because my map is going to be much bigger than this, and I don't want to say cripple my frame rates. But there are some useful little tips I can get from that as well. This is a little layout I've had a little bit of fun on. It's a very simple little layout, and this is more akin to the sort of scenery, maybe a little bit more detailed than this, but that you'll see on my sort of mainline sections. There will be a bit more detailed than this, but it's just a nice long mainline section, then it loops into a little passing area around the back, comes back round again, underneath a road bridge into another passing loop before it comes back out again. So this is quite nice for just watching trains, especially if you're standing up here on the bridge and just watching them go through. What else did I look at? So this is a fun little layout. So we've got two trains just running at the moment, and then they're on the same line, just at different stages of the line. And then we've got, you know, a third line, so to speak, you know, a second line that just is independent of that. So let's go for a little cab ride on here, shall we? There's a lot of sort of minimalist approach to scenery on this one, just a little bit of paint and a few trees here and there, the odd building here and there. There's another layout I'm going to show you in a moment as well, one of the in-game layouts rather than the one off the workshop. It's very good. So the guy that designed this game, that made this game is a Kiwi. It's from New Zealand, and when the game first launched, I think it only had one route, which was an impressive one, nonetheless, from New Zealand. And the first few things that he put in was just stuff from New Zealand trains, a couple of New Zealand maps. As the game started to gain traction, started to add in some stuff from different areas. That's when we got the Brazil map and the Brazil trains. Started to get some American trains, did a couple of American maps. He hasn't done any British stuff yet. I doubt he ever will, but he has done some very funky maps. So this one goes and hides this train. We might even get pushed down a bit at one point. Yeah. Worried that might happen. It goes underneath the map, essentially. It's not there. It's still underneath the map. And it will eventually come out of that tunnel there. Eventually. Probably should have put a little bit more speed on it. And it'll do a very short run before it goes in that tunnel. And then it'll disappear under the map again before it comes out there, and then loops back around to where we were, where we started. The other line runs through here into that tunnel. I don't remember where that one comes out. I think it comes out here. Yeah, there's the one that pushed us off. That's going to come out here. Oh, I see. It's gone round the back, and now it's going to come out this way. There's our long, slow freight train. There's that passenger one. Going to loop around the mountain. So this is a fun little map. Now I just had a little play about on, but I want to show you one of the official maps, which we didn't look at the other day, and it's the Tibet map. This is awesome. It's an awesome map, properly themed as well, which is what I like about it. We are actually going to go for a ride on this one. I'll tell you what I will do. Let's turn off it's not here. can't remember where it is. I want to turn off the debugging mode. Might be here. No. Where is it? This game is fully VR compatible as well. At some point, I think I'm going to have to get a VR headset for the PC. It's got to be down here in miscellaneous. Yes, there we go. Turn that off. Right, where is the train? It's still over there. And we've turned off the debug mode. Excellent. So, enjoy this little tour of Tibet. And once we've done the run, we'll then have a walk around it. Evening, Eugene. Thank you for the sub. So there are some really cool little scenic features on this map, and all worked on a historical, accurate, location stuff as well. This lovely little town over here. Power station. And this is where you reach terminus. The train will go around a loop and come back again, but let's just walk around the layout. So this is Gonwood, and it's when you start walking around that you really start to see some of the extra little bits that are hidden. So you can see we are looking at an interpretation of the Sancherhay Grand Bridge. Here we have that little power station. As we come back to Larangar, you can see what it actually looks like in real life. So I love the fact that we've got this kind of temple here and lots of little red houses just dotted around, just like it is in reality. This is a really nice way to make a themed map around a specific area and put some detail in it. So this is the Tibetan Plateau. I'm not sure, but I think that might be the monastery that the Dalai Lama's in. I don't know. And then again, you can see an interpretation of the bridge from the photo. Even the livery of the train, even though it's not the right train as such, the livery is a nice representation of that as well. I feel like we've got this nice little sort of monument up here with some steps leading to it as well. Same over here as well. If we head back onto this side, a little house or two hidden underneath the boulder there on the edge of Lake Namtso. There's our train that comes over the bridge as we head around the mountain. Some more photos of Tibet to try and show the scenery that's been created to try and represent that. And if we go up to the top of the mountain, got some climbing gear. And then we have Lhasa. And again, just some really nice little touches. Some packing crates. Nice little town scene with a big temple. It's all done with a kind of a minimalist style, but it still looks really, really nice. I love this little layout. And there's another shot of the Tibetan Plateau again. Such a really nice little map, this. Which other layouts did we not look at the other day as well? Don't remember if we looked at this one or not. So this is Weka Pass Railway in Canterbury, New Zealand. I don't know if we have a train actually running on this one. I don't think we do. looking around to see if there is one out there somewhere. We've got a nice long freight train loaded up and ready to go. And that goes underneath the map. Not sure where it comes out. I think it comes out here. And then loops around this way into the yard over here, or you can connect up to the main line. We're going to get this one up and running. I hope all the points are in the right place. I haven't actually tried running anything on this map. Definitely want to try this with VR at some point. Alright, so that's going back into the main yard already. So we need something going from here. Let's grab this. I literally grabbed it. Let's grab this one. Let's get this started up. What do we actually have here? A couple of coaches. 3 coaches. Didn't realise we had that many on it. Got our freight train running through again. That's a very small loop, actually. Frog Rock. Yeah, I suppose it does look a little bit like a frog, doesn't it? Not so much here. So that's gone into the tunnel. We won't see that for a while now. That'll go out through the back and underneath all this farmyard, farmland over here. It will eventually pop out there. Still hidden off the map, and then come out on that line there, I believe. Loop around, and we won't actually see that one again now until it comes onto this line here. So it'll pop out just there, and then we'll get it reconnecting. So not a huge amount of actual active train on the map. But again, it's a really nice look at some scenery. There it is in the heading back into the staging area. You know, one thing I do want to try, I haven't seen it actually happening yet, is to try the plow. Now, I don't know if this is actually a loco itself or not, or whether it needs to be attached. Looks like it's a blower. It looks more like a tunnel, a tunnel borer. Is that actually an engine? Let's have a look. Yes, it is. Right, well, let's give it its tender. I just want to see what it looks like with dynamic snow that can be blown off the line. This is blowing the snow over. Ha! There we go. Oh, great. Out the way, freight train. Out the way, freight train. I mean, that's cool, but it's something that you can only do once before you have to reset all the snow again, I imagine. It's definitely something you could role play. The life and times of a snowblower. Alright, let's actually take this route for a ride. We had a wander around it last time, but I want to actually have a run on this one. So this is the granddaddy of all layouts on this channel. On this game, I think. On the workshop. It's truly a sight to see. So, I'm going to draw here. Let's slap a train on. It's going to be a long one. I don't really know that much about American trains, so I don't know what is a good one to run, but I'm going to go with 2 of these, I think. And we need a lot of freight. Take a couple of those ones out, put some more doubles in. Right, how long is our train? Damn it. I don't have a controller. Easy fixed. I think we can go longer. Let's maybe mix up the freight a little bit as well. Track. Stick some of these on the end as well. There we go. That's a nice long more of these on the end as well. So I'm just going to let this run and see where it goes. Hopefully it won't go into a dead end. Oh, it's looping round. Alright, okay. Looks like we're changing direction. See where we end up. So auto switching's turned off, so it's whatever's just been left as the active switches will determine what track we're on at any one point. Turn the volume down a little bit, seems we're riding on the car. Certain areas of this map like this, we're going to see some juddering in the frames. And that's simply because of the sheer scope and size of this thing. I'm not sure, but it might actually be slightly smoother for you guys than it is for me. I think OBS is doing a nice little bit of smoothing out on some of these little judders. Long old train. There we go. As we move the camera at certain angles, frame rate improves instantly. see the symbols for horn and whistle. This one doesn't have a whistle. Thought it might ring the bell, but apparently not. That's the level crossing that you can hit. Oh wow, Radio Shack. Now, we are staying on this line, we're not branching off yet. As we go past the Dollar General. Speed this up a bit because we could be on here for a very long time otherwise. Oh, come on. Because I'm actually standing on top of it, it's not going to let me select it. That's annoying. Alright. Let's try doing it this way instead. Turn, speed up in here. So the default AI speed on this one is 20. We'll make it 30. Down to just 26 frames a second here. The Reagan National Park. There we go, nice and smooth at 60 again. Half expecting to get pushed off the train there. I would say we're probably not even a quarter of the way around yet. Oh, we are branching off. Lovely little waterfall area. Where are we going? It's a mystery to me as much as it is to you. I have absolutely no idea where we're going to come out. We are out. I have no idea where we are. I'm curious as to how much of the layout we just skipped. Where did we go in? Is it over here? No. We came through this area. Around that way. There. That's where we just skipped. We shortcut through all of this section. That's a real shame, actually, because this is a really nice stretch of track. Big old logging plant. Wow, we skipped a lot, didn't we? And there's our train. So yeah, it came out there. That was a big old bypass there. Come up through this area, got Dairy Queen. There's our Walmart. Nice little freight yard over here. Is there anything in here? I wonder. No. I think this is a fairly prototypical length. Maybe even a little bit short by American standards in some parts of their country. Is it Chetten or Cheaton? I don't know. The river watershed still in New Vienna. So we've got another shortcut area. And this is why I'm keeping my baseboards quite narrow, or I will do when I finally finish, getting the all the track down, is so that I can put some detail in, but not completely overload the system, depending on which way the camera's pointing. If I look here, I'm doing 34, now 28 frames a second with the train coming through. If I look here, doing 50, now 60. Depending on which way you point, can have an impact. Plus, I've got everything set to infinite view. You could turn down some of the details as to how far away they render in, and that would improve performance that way. But then you just get this stuff spawning in from as you start moving around, which kind of looks a bit weird. And the game looks surprisingly rougher in 1080p compared to 4K as well. This is 4K mode. When you run it in 1080p, it looks a lot more rough around the edges than I would have thought it would have done. Once again, I am so impressed with the size and scope and quality of this layout. It's not over the top super detailed, but it's still really nicely detailed. Let's close these drawers, see if that helps by removing some some stuff from view. It has actually surprisingly helped a little bit. Or maybe not that surprising. Still got a way to go before we get back to where we started. Oh, he's taking the diversion. Is he going into the roadhouse? Please don't go into the roadhouse. No, he's not. Switching onto the inner track, which is going to divert back onto the main line anyway. Okay, that's all right. Interesting choice. one of the things that is actually being worked on by the developer at the moment is multiplayer. So you'll be able to have multiple people in and operating this map independently, which is, how this map is really meant to be played, with multiple people running their own trains and watching out for signals and switches and things like that. Just how it would be in real life if they were operating this as a real model railway. So I'm kind of curious as to what that's going to be like when it turns up. I've no idea how close we are to multiplayer. You see, we've got a little bit of white water. Little animations like that can also have a knock-on effect on the frame rate, which is why I probably won't have that many, if any, on mine. But they do look lovely when you've got a nice little waterfall like this. That looks absolutely fantastic. Well, cutting through should come out just there. Yeah, here it comes. So whereabouts are we up to now in the States? Lacombe, the Intrepid Valley Basin. Another waterfall. Very nicely done. Imagine how picturesque this would be with steam rather than diesel. it's gone into the tunnel. Oh, wow, look at this. Is that a Firewatch hut? Even added wind sound effects for being up this high. I think it might be a Firewatch. And the reason there's no one in here is because that looks like there's a fire off in the distance. Or was it the... Yeah, there is. There's a fire, look. It's hidden off map, so you don't see it unless you're in miniature mode. Oh, that's a really nice little Easter egg for being in miniature mode. I like that. Got a nice spiral down. The Appaloosa Pass in west. And the Appaloosa Loop. And this is modelled on, I think, east to west. But we might be running west to east, I'm not sure. To the Orange Sky Yard. Again, you can hear very faint sound effects of the city. Horns and sirens and all sorts. So the train just sedately rolls on through. Some fountains in the casino swimming pool area. Are we going to bend off here? I think we might be turning around here. Is this where we started? Yeah, this is where we started. So there we go. That's a full loop. It's going to turn around and head back in the opposite direction, instead of continuing back round to where we started. I am still absolutely in awe of this layout. It is incredible. We might actually see some slight variations on the way back. What's hidden back here. There are a couple of Swiss maps that I might have to check out. It's this loop that's made me think of them. Some more white water. There's our Firewatch again. What else is hidden back here? I wonder if that's a random skybox, maybe. Oh yeah, there's a sign, look. Intrepid Valley Fire Lookout. I completely missed that when we came around the first time. So by following it back round this way, I'm hoping that we won't take that diversion that we took last time, where we skipped a big chunk of the map. I'm hoping we'll go straight through this time. Going to be doing a lot of work on my layout tomorrow. I'm probably going to stream for a good chunk of that. If you want to watch me make some more slow progress, you are more than welcome to join. Just have a little look at the campfire down here. It's just a random shape, but it so clearly gives you that impression of a tent. Just wondering if we'd hear any woodwork sound effects. I don't think so. Do hear a little bit of running water here, though. Netting up to protect from falling rocks. So I think this might be some of the stuff that we missed. No, not yet. We haven't got to that bit yet. That's where we started. Yeah, we did come round this way because we took that little diversion loop around the side here by the station. I'm going to have to build myself some kind of control panel like this for the station, I think, so I can choose when I want to divert trains into the station if I just want to have a manual running session, and choose when to keep them out. So that's where we joined. No, that was a shortcut that we investigated. So where's all the stuff that we missed out then? This is down here. No. At some point I'm going to run this in the dark as well on the night skybox and see what it looks like at night time. Won't do that tonight. We've got a crashed truck. It's hit the overpass. I'm glad we finally got to run a couple of trains, or run a train on a couple of different directions on this one. Never check that point. Let's go straight over. Okay. Yeah, nice little bypass line here. Around the back of is that a lumber facility? I don't know. No, it can't be. It's got to be some kind of ore facility. Maybe a coal plant or a nickel plant or something like that. I don't know. That's the diversion that we were on. This time we're going to be on these lower tracks here, so we'll actually get to watch it go through the whole area that we skipped, including this really, really nice Black Pass River trestle bridge. Looks like an old case or an old Massey tractor at the top there. Football. An outside theatre. Watching Dirty Harry? Or is that The Good, the Bad and the Ugly? I don't know. It's certainly a Clint Eastwood movie. I'm just not quite sure which one. That's a nice little touch. Back into New Vienna. Wow, are there any sound effects over here? Nothing specific to that area. I was wondering if we'd hear any, Sergeant drill corps or some gunshots or anything like that. The Moseley paper mill. Can I? Oh, wow. That's cool. Over the T. Jackson Bridge. Trestle to a girder to a trestle again. Let's see if that signal goes green once the train comes through. It should do. Once that line is cleared. Yes, it did. Well, it didn't so much go green, it's just the red light disappeared. And that's where we diverted off when we came through in the opposite direction. So we're almost home and hosed now. It's the CSX facility. So we've gone with, I think, the wrong livery on our trains. But never mind. Little campsite, complete with a deck chair. And all of these props, for the most part, I think are made using, not all of them, but they're just made using, you know, a few generic items and then shapes. And they're all scalable as well, which is the really cool thing. So there are a couple of really small blocks that I stretched and blew up a little bit to get to the size they were for me to be able to close off certain areas of my station platform. That's why there were you know, some big white blocks in the middle of it. It's because I was using just shapes and deforming them and changing their shape and size to fill in the gaps so that I had a nice smooth solid surface to then put something on top of and hide away all the unsightly bits around the edge of the default station model. You can repaint everything in whatever color scheme you want as well, so I'm not quite sure what colours I'm going to do my station platforms in yet. Whether to do them in sort of like a dusty pale brick colour, or whether to make them grey concrete-y, or I haven't decided yet. But the current brown with a big white squarish block will all become one unified colour. I'll still keep the yellow stripe on the edge of the platforms though. Although I may possibly change that colour to red, depending on what colour I paint my platforms. There we go. Hills Casino. We're almost home. Over Sheepshead River. And this is where we started. That's a hell of a journey, isn't it? This railway. And the only thing we haven't run on, literally, is just this corner. We've done everything else. I really enjoyed that. Especially seeing some of those little unique hidden moments as well. Like seeing the fire when we went up to the top of the Firewatch Tower. That was cool. Might have to see if I can put some Easter eggs in my map when it's finally finished. But yeah, that was a tour of the continental United States map. And what a map it is. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to call it a night here. It's 3 o'clock. I'm going to do a little bit of pookling around before I turn in for the night. But I'll be back on this tomorrow doing some more work on the layout, and then at some point later in the afternoon / early evening I'll probably go live for a bit while I'm still working on the layout as well. hopefully I'll have made a bit more progress than where we left it. Oh, did I save? I'm sure I saved. That would be it would be a disaster if I forgot to save some of that work I did before we left it. No, we saved it. Oh, thank God for that. I was panicking. So yeah, I'll make some more progress on this before we go live tomorrow. And then, you'll be able to see what's changed and watch me continue to make more changes to it as well. Until then, though, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jibob, and I'll be back with a little bit more Rolling Line tomorrow.